Indie music has been around for a long time, especially more so with the inventions like the 4-track, which made home recordings a lot easier to do. Modest Mouse, Arctic Monkeys, The Strokes, and the White Stripes are some of the best examples from this genre. But there is one band that really stands out with their creativity, diversity, and emotion poured into their music. Originating in Ruston, Louisiana, Neutral Milk Hotel has cemented themselves as one of the most influential indie bands of all time. Their album In the Airplane Over the Sea didn't get much popularity when it was released, but years later it was highly acclaimed and became one of the most influential indie albums of all time, and often called one of the best albums of the 1990s. Neutral Milk Hotel seemed to be off in a great direction by the end of the 90s, so why did they end up disbanding? To tell the whole story of the band, we need to start at the beginning. Everything started with one man, Jeff Mangum. It was the late 80s and the band wasn't even together yet. The band was more of a project started by Jeff, originally called Milk. Jeff made several home recordings himself on cassette tapes. He often shared these with his friends Robert Schneider, Bill Doss, and Wilcon Hart. All four of these friends all made their own home records and shared the tapes with each other. They branded these tapes with the imaginary record label called Elephant Six, which eventually later became a loose musical collective founded by the four. When Jeff eventually found out another band used the name Milk, the project was changed to Neutral Milk Hotel, which was a name suggested by Will. When Jeff dropped out of a university, he packed up his bags and instruments and moved back down to Athens, Georgia, which eventually became the beating heart of the Elephant Six collective that was beginning to form. He temporarily played in a band called Synthetic Flying Machine, before leaving shortly after it formed. After that, he moved from place to place, living in Denver, Los Angeles, and Seattle at different points. During that period, Jeff recorded music and demos now and then, and put it into one demo album called The Hype City Soundtracks. When in Seattle, Mangum released the first official song, Everything Is, on Cherry Doll Records. The explosion of the song ended up motivating Jeff to record more music under the name Neutral Milk Hotel. During this time, Jeff Mangum was also the bass guitarist for the band Apples in Stereo, which was a band formed by Robert Schneider and became one of the most well-known Elephant Six bands. When Apples in Stereo went to form with Spin Art Records, the legal representative was drawn to Mangum and discovered he wrote Everything Is, which was a song he previously enjoyed. This eventually led to him becoming Neutral Milk Hotel's representative. He sent two of Jeff's songs to the founders of Merge Records, and they liked the songs and decided to add Neutral Milk Hotel to their roster. When Jeff moved back to Denver, he spent February to May of 1995 recording with Robert Schneider on their first studio album, On Avery Island. The lo-fi rock album garnered positive reviews from critics, calling it a trippy experience and a fresh, exciting standout. With the release of this album, Jeff sought out to do live performances, but he needed band members to play with. When Jeff lived in Ruston, he befriended Julian Koster. They exchanged demo tapes, and he decided to join Neutral Milk Hotel as the bassist, although he became later known for playing the singing soul. Jeff also got a letter from a drummer named Jeremy Barnes. Jeff and Julian traveled to Chicago to meet him. After he auditioned, they persuaded him to drop out of college, and he accepted and joined the band. The final member to fall in place with the band was Scott Spillane. He was a former musician, and Jeff met him working at a pizzeria late at night in Austin, Texas. Jeff was able to convince him to join the band, and now the full lineup of Neutral Milk Hotel was in place. Now with a full band, Jeff took everyone and they started touring for On Avery Island. Beforehand, Koster encouraged everyone to try new instruments, leading to the members learning different things such as the accordion and different types of horns. The money garnered from the tour was enough for the band to move to Athens, Georgia, where the Elephant Six collective was beginning to grow. After Jeff Mangum recorded multiple demos, the band moved to Denver to record their indie masterpiece, In the Airplane Over the Sea. The album was recorded from July to September of 1997 and it was produced by Robert Schneider. The album was released on February 10th in 1998 by Merge Records.
What a beautiful dream that could flash on the screen in a blink of an eye and be gone.
The album was sold in CD and vinyl form. Even though it sold about the same as On Avery Island and got positive reviews, it wasn't nearly as popular as it is now. Most of the critic reviews were positive. with comments being the Sgt. Pepper's of the early 90s lo-fi, to criticisms of it and the use of distortion in the album. The band decided to tour North America and Europe to promote their new album. During this tour, the band gained their chaotic reputation when playing live, such as Julian being thrown onto the drum set by Jeff. Neutral Milk Hotel seemed to be going in a great direction, with more live performances seeming to gather more attention as they went on. When the internet came around, Airplane Over the Sea began gaining popularity through message boards and websites like Pitchfork giving the album more promotion. This popularity was great, and they were probably going to become very famous eventually, right? Well, yes and no. The high profile of the band began to take a toll on Jeff, as his mental health began to deteriorate. He often told the other members he wanted to quit the band, never giving an explanation. Jeff began avoiding the public eye, avoided most interviews, and refused to record new music. In short, the growing popularity of the band became a curse to Jeff, causing a mental down spiral. When the band finished the tour, this quietly led to the unofficial breakup of Neutral Milk Hotel. Even though the band hadn't officially breaking up and was more on a hiatus, the other band members went on to pursue other projects, such as the music tapes, the Gerbils, and A Hawk and the Hacksaw. Jeff also worked on and helped with other bands at some points, such as Major Organ and the Adding Machine and the Instruments, but nothing major or big. Jeff continued to live quietly out of the public eye. Meanwhile, fans of Neutral Milk Hotel were left confused and clueless about the disbandment. Some angry fans accused Jeff of being selfish, and others went as far as writing fake blogs about him and the band touring again, plus other misinformation. But even throughout all this chaos, the most unexpected thing happened. The popularity of the band grew rapidly. Their album In the Airplane Over the Sea began to gather a cult following online, causing many to praise Jeff for his work. The album's popularity only continued to grow, when in 2005 with the reissue, Pitchfork gave it a 10 out of 10, the very rare perfect score for the website. Many critics also got a hold of the album, both giving it praise and critical acclaim. The numbers of copies it was selling was skyrocketing. Through the internet, people were heavily inspired by the band, leading to tribute bands, people playing covers of their songs, memes, and poetry. Neutral Milk Hotel, a small band who had disbanded years ago, has now built an incredibly passionate fan base. Some fans even thought of a theory that Anne Frank was brought to the future in a time machine by Jeff Mangum. Even though the band had disbanded long ago, this was not the end of the story. In 2008, Jeff Mangum resurfaced to perform a few solo shows, which led to a full solo tour in 2011 and 2012. During that time, Jeff released a box set that included unreleased songs titled Ferris Wheel on Fire. With Jeff being active again, fans in the music industry got excited for a potential return of the whole band, and luckily, their prayers were answered. On April 29th of 2013, Neutral Milk Hotel announced an official reunion tour with the full band. The band was back, but only temporarily. They toured from 2013 to 2015, but the band announced their hiatus would resume after their final show in spring of 2015. Their final farewells were the words, "Dear friends, we love you, but it's time to say goodbye for that never-ending now." The only other new thing from the band is a second box set released in 2023, called The Collected Works of Neutral Milk Hotel, including all the band's works including Jeff Mangum's 2001 live album, Live at Jittery Joe's. The album was nominated for Best Box and Special Limited Edition package at the 2024 Grammys, being the very first Grammy nomination of the band. Even though what was once a small band has appeared and disappeared over time, their legacy is forever remembered in the music community. The band has influenced indie music as a whole, directly inspiring bands like Arcade Fire and the Decemberists. In the Airplane Over the Sea has become a music icon, a phenomenon, influencing millions for pure feeling and emotion poured into the album. They might not be active anymore, but Neutral Milk Hotel will forever remain one of the most influential indie bands of all time.